2 years ago, almost to the day, I was working full-time on Wall Street as a hedge fund trader. Now I run a portfolio of writing businesses that hopefully, like I said, can get to $1 million a month by the end of the year.
So you worked on Wall Street.
I did.
Like, what were you doing?
I was a hedge fund trader for BlackRock. So
For BlackRock?
For BlackRock.
Dude, BlackRock always sounds like some mysterious evil company.
No,
what was that like?
So I was a math and computer science major in college. Loved math growing up, very analytical thinker. And that was kind of the dream job that I was groomed. It was the only job interview I've ever had. So I interned there going into my junior year of college and senior year, and then worked on Wall Street for 4 years in New York City right when I graduated. That was what I thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Quickly found out that right when I got there, this was not something that if I doubled my effort, I'd make twice as much money or learn twice as much. And as someone who I've lived like a pretty obsessive life growing up where I find something and I really want to pour all my heart into it, all my heart, all my effort, I realized that I didn't have uncapped upside there. So I kind of freaked out a year in saying, I need something where I have full control over the output in some way if I work harder. And I just hated being told what to do. Like after I'd have a ton of excitement to do something and start working on it myself. And then one of my bosses came to me and said, go do this thing. I'd immediately lose interest in it. So I just recognized more entrepreneurial at heart. This is good. Not something I'm going to quit right away, but knew I wasn't going to do it for 50 years.
So how'd you stumble into writing after this?
So I recognized that I did not want to quit this job immediately, but I needed to find a way to passively pursue other opportunities. So rather than quit and go operate from a place of scarcity where I got to go figure out how to make money, it was, I'm just going to start to put ideas out there and see what types of opportunities start to find me. The real reason I saw writing was within BlackRock, there was a ton of high-level people who'd write these really in-depth emails that would break down their views on the market and what they thought. So I said, wow, okay, if I want to have new opportunities within the firm, this was before I realized I wanted to quit, I would start my own newsletter. So I started an internal newsletter where I would summarize what was happening in the market. I'd link to some podcasts that I was listening to learn. And I had a couple hundred people reading that. And then just like that, I was 23 in the firm and had some of the highest up people reading that and enjoying it. So it clicked in my head of, okay, if you want to unlock new opportunities, put yourself out there in some way. Then I had the full experience of not wanting to do this for the rest of my life. So I abstracted that to, okay, if I've attracted all these opportunities within, why don't I just apply the same thinking and write a public newsletter? But I was terrified to write about anything financial markets related because I thought like conflict of interest, and I was probably right. I shouldn't do anything like that. So I just wrote a personal newsletter breaking down everything I read and learned that week. And that started in January of 2020. And I committed to write a newsletter every week for 52 weeks, thinking worst case, I better understood the ideas I talked about and shared. Best case, which is exactly what happened, my entire life trajectory could change.
Nice. So was this something that you were making money on immediately, or was it just something that you were trying to build up, get experience?
No.
And like, did you at least have the thought that this could turn into a money-making engine?
I did not have the plan to do that. I figured it was going to lead me to opportunities that would make money, not monetize the writing directly.
Like the people that were reading it.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened, right? So I wrote a newsletter every week for 40 weeks. This was September of 2020. Now, luckily, in March of 2020, the world shut down. So I went from having to work in an office to working remotely. That opened up a lot of time where I realized a lot of the finance work is made up. If you don't have someone looking over your shoulder, looking at which Excel sheet you have going on, you're like, okay, I could probably work for about 2 or 3 hours a day. So I got sent home, began working from home from my house in Tampa, realized, okay, don't want to do this job forever, especially don't want to go back into the office after having this freedom being back in Florida during the winter. I'm like, okay, great. Then said, I'm going to just start putting this newsletter out there. I did that for 40 weeks, got to September, had like 400 subscribers, and I think I signed up half of them myself.
Nice.
Not nice. 400 subscribers after 40 weeks. I'm like, I felt like I was chewing glass.
Not nice.
And so I got there and said, is this what I want to do? Is this going to be my ticket out? And around late 2020, there was like inklings of they might try to take us back into the office in 2021. I just did not want to do that. So I said, okay, I'm going to give this writing thing 30 more days. But rather than write a newsletter and a blog that no one is reading, I'm going to write on social media and bring my writing to Twitter. And rather than write once a month or once a week, I'm going to write every day for 30 days. So I did that. And I committed to writing a Twitter thread back when it was still called Twitter.
Yeah.
Every day for a month, summarizing a podcast that I listened to that morning. So I had a nice routine where I'd wake up, listen to a podcast, go to work all day, and then finish the day writing up a thread with what I learned. So again, there was no downside to this. I was going to do that work anyway, but it had exponential upside. Day 28 comes, kind of humming along. I had a couple mini viral, people are interested in it. And day 28 happens. I hit publish, no likes, no retweets, no comments. It's like I didn't even exist. And so I said, okay, this is it. I'm giving up this writing thing entirely. Wasn't going to quit. Said, I'll give it 2 more days and commit to getting all 30 out. So day 29, woke up, wrote it. I thought I did a pretty good job on it, but I didn't have high expectations. Hit publish, went to sleep. Woke up the next day, it had 4,000 or 5,000 likes. Naval had retweeted it. Balaji Srinivasan.
That's like really quality people.
Some interesting people that I definitely looked up to at the time. And I plugged my newsletter at the bottom of it. I had 400 subscribers when I went to bed and almost 1,000 when I woke up the next day. So I said, it took me 9 months to get to 400 and 9 more hours to get to 1,000. And that taught me a couple things. One, I never knew what was going to go viral. So I just had to keep publishing. And 2, there's clearly something to this write in public every day for 30 days challenge.